One of the things people love about you is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
CNN plus Fox plus MSNBC equals CIA plus NSA. Welcome to the Savage Nation. It's clear now that Megyn Kelly is working for the other side. It's clear now that Martha Washington and Roger Ailes and Rupert Murdoch are working for Hillary Clinton. It's as clear as a bell that Megyn Kelly has gone over to the dark side. And frankly, her looks are changing. It's the portrait of Dorian Kelly. The more she sells out, the wider her nostrils have become. Listen to what I just said to you. Have you seen them flare? This woman was once pretty. And the more she has sold out, the wider her nostrils have become. They're almost porcine. She snorts her insults at America. And as I say, it's now the portrait of Dorian Kelly, not the portrait of Dorian Gray. The portrait of Dorian Gray, or the picture of Dorian Gray, which I referred to, was published in the July 1890 issue of Lippincott's Monthly Magazine. And I was using it as a reference to Megyn Kelly because the story is very telling. It's set in Victorian England, and it's a very handsome young man who was given a portrait of himself by an admiring artist. And soon after this, he treats a young woman cruelly and then notices that the painting starts to change in form, and he is no longer the good-looking man in the painting. He's quite ugly. Now, the analogy is quite useful here because although Megyn Kelly's looks may not have changed to herself in her Cinderella mirror backstage, the cameras that we all watch is the portrait that I'm referring to. And the portrait of Dorian Kelly is quite revealing. You watch her face change. You will see it change over the coming months. Now that she is drunk on her own power, you will see what I see because I see things before anyone else. And I've told you what I've seen. The more she has sold out, the wider her nostrils have become. Almost porcine as she snorts her insults at America. The issue is not Trump, it's Megyn Kelly. The issue is not Trump, it's Meatball Jr. The issue is not Trump, it's Bret Baier, who's destroyed himself as a journalist. And the issue now is, why is it that MSNBC and CNN are gloating over how well Fox did last night in the debate? Why is it that radical libs like Frank Bruni of the New York Times loved the debate? Why is it that every anti-American, progressive lout in the United States of America loved what Fox News did to the Republicans last night? When you play it unfair and you use demagoguery, as Megyn Kelly did, you get big ratings. She has now exceeded Jenner. She's drawing bigger than Caitlyn did. That's the main thing. I mean, she outdrew Caitlyn. The reality show of Megyn Kelly outdrew Caitlyn. I Am Caitlyn is now I Am Megyn. From I Am Caitlyn to I Am Mayhem. A whopping 24 million people watched the variety show, the reality show called I Am Mayhem, last night, 9 p.m. Eastern, to just past 11 p.m. Eastern time. I Am Mayhem drew 7.9 million in the age 25 to 54 demo. This is the highest non-sports cable program of all time, the highest rated cable news program of all time, and Fox News' most watched program ever. So it proves again that if you go lower than I Am Caitlyn, you get a bigger audience. And so now we have I Am Mayhem, which is outdrawing I Am Caitlyn. The 5 p.m. Eastern time debate with the 7 lower-tier candidates did very well for Fox News as well. It drew 6.1 million total viewers and 1.2 million in the demo, making it the third highest primary debate ever on cable. So again, you've got to see that going to the gutter and attacking candidates who could save America makes money. And that's exactly why Facebook makes so much money. That's exactly why Facebook was the co-sponsor of the new reality show, I Am Mayhem. And incidentally, you know, Marshall McLuhan, who was the genius on the media, wrote a book or an essay many years ago called The Medium is the Message. And we all learned from that. The minute the cameras opened up on the stage, I knew it was a setup. Before one word was uttered from Megyn Kelly, I knew it was a setup. Why did I say that? Because who was stage left most prominently displayed for the world to see amongst all the Republican candidates? It was the overweight Chris Christie. His waistline was exemplified. So they set the whole thing up. But how much further do you have to go than the fact that there was a big F on the stage, on the screen, throughout the whole thing? It was Mark Zuckerberg. Mr. Undershirt was behind the whole thing. When have you ever heard of a man in favor of cheapening American wages and flooding America with illegal aliens, buying a network during the opposition's debates? When have you ever heard of this? Well, you just heard of it. What do you think the F stood for? Mark Zuckerberg joined forces with Fox News to undermine one Donald Trump and be the entire Republican ticket. And that was for one reason only, because Zuckerberg is the greediest man in the history of the world. Zuckerberg wants cheap labor. Zuckerberg doesn't care who gets hurt. Zuckerberg just wants them in this country. And so that's why Trump is the biggest threat to the status quo. The establishment is afraid of Donald Trump. Now, if you look back at Megyn Kelly's history, she was on target with so many statements. She was talking about Obama planning to force communities that are too white and too privileged to embrace diversity. That was as near as June 11, 2015. She was right on target. On the May 20th edition of Fox News, Kelly criticized Michelle Obama's commencement speech because she listened to the Savage Nation and she learned that it pandered to the culture of victimization. Okay. On the July 7th edition of Fox News' The Kelly File, Megyn Kelly listened to the Savage Nation and she attacked Jeb Bush on the Mexican immigrant issue. When she said Jeb Bush is married to a Mexican immigrant, so how do you say he is hostile toward immigrants? On the May 26, 2009 edition of the Savage Nation, Kelly listened to the show and she attacked Sotomayor. On the July 13th, 2009 edition of the Savage Nation, she learned from me how to deal with this issue of Sotomayor. And so all of a sudden she goes from the darling of the conservatives in America, and I call her affectionately Martha Washington, to Mata Hari, because she's become the exact opposite. And everybody knows that. You're listening to the show to vent. Many of you are very, very upset seeing what Fox News tried to do, but failed, by the way, to achieve, not only against Trump, but the entire Republican ticket. Never forget what they did. They tried to destroy the Republican Party by reverting to stereotypical questions about women, rape, this and that, sexism, abortion, God. You heard what she was doing, all of them. They're no different. Okay, we know that. But I don't think they succeeded. The subtext of this will be lost on you unless you recognize what the F on the screen represented. Throughout the debate, you saw a large F to the right of your screen, did you not? I did. I watched it for an hour and a half. What is the F for? Facebook. And who was in the audience cheering and booing? Facebook workers, no doubt, from the Facebook factory. Who is Facebook? Who owns Facebook? What are their politics? Zuckerberg owns Facebook. Why was he chosen as a sponsor when he has such a bias against strong immigration policies? Doesn't that tell you everything you need to know? Why would they partner with a guy like Zuckerberg, who marched arm in arm with illegal aliens a few months ago, demanding that we have open borders? And why would a billionaire like him want open borders? Well, because he wants cheaper workers. Certainly the women and children coming in from Honduras and El Salvador are not going to work for Facebook. I get that. But all of the Indian workers that he has on his payroll who have replaced American workers at about half the price are certainly part of the quotient in Mark Zuckerberg's desire for open borders. And if you check out Facebook and you look at his board of directors and you look at his legal team, you will see a large number of folks from India on his legal team. Nothing wrong with that. I've always supported people from India. People from India know that. They know that going back 10 years. But I don't support illegal immigration from anywhere, especially when the illegal immigrants are willing to work for half the price of American IT workers, just to stuff the pockets of a multi-billionaire. And that's why, unless you recognize that the F on the screen last night told you everything you needed to know and then some about the so-called debates, I think you're going to miss the bigger picture. The bigger picture is it was a setup between Facebook and Fox News. And I give them both an F on the so-called debate.